Hello, welcome. Deploy your mind in solving complex work problems. I'll be talking to you today about this topic and the framework that you can adopt in making sure that you are able to solve complex work problems easily. Number one, you are a valuable resource. And I need you to understand that you are a valuable resource. And because you're a valuable resource, it means that every single time you show up with value in hand. And you don't only bring solution to problems at work, you yourself are the solution. Okay, so you are a key talent, and I need you to operate as one. And for that to happen, it means that you need to understand the value you bring on board, and you need to optimize that value at work. So I'm going to show you the framework that you can use to solve those complex issues that sort of come up at work and how to make those work for you. Okay, so the first thing I'll say to you is you need to understand the issue at hand. Depending on what the case is, maybe you are not so much in the detail, someone else is in the detail. You need to go to the person who has all of the detail to understand the detail, understand the problem, and make sure that you have digested it, you understand it, you can explain it. Because sometimes you think you know an issue in and out, but until you explain it properly to yourself, you may not know that you have gaps in your knowledge. And that brings me to the second point, which is explaining the issue to yourself. So once you've gathered all the information that you do need, try explaining that issue to yourself. Just try to explain it to yourself and see if you truly understand it. Now, before you go to your bosses to tell them, oh, there is an issue, or you're escalating, or you're giving them an update, try, especially if you have maybe some other junior team members, pull them together, try to have a conversation. You may try to play the boss or whatever. Just create a scenario where you do understand it, and anywhere you go, you feel comfortable discussing the issue. The next thing I would say to you is break it down. So sometimes an issue will come up, maybe from your customer, from your client, a technical problem at work, whatever it is. And so it seems insurmountable, especially when it's just been explained to you. It sounds insurmountable. But when you take that issue and you try to break it down, it makes more sense, especially into digestible parts. Then it makes more sense. So look at it from like, okay, what is this issue? Is this an operational issue? Is this a methodology issue? Is this a policy issue? Is this a medical issue? I mean, depending on where you work, how you work, your industry, break it down into different parts and say, okay, if it is a methodology issue, where do I need to go? If it is a technical standards issue, where do I need to go? If it's a people issue, where do I need to go? If all of those. So you want to understand what kind of issue it is, so you need to break it down. The next thing that you then need to do is to say, okay, what is the first step that I need to take right now that will set me in motion to solving this issue? And that is so important, because if you don't know the first step, then you wouldn't know the next steps to solve the problem. So you need to understand the first step. So you may be sending out an email, organizing a meeting, having having a conversation. It can be just anything. It can be telling a team to do something for you, telling a member of your team to do something for you. It can just be anything. So prepare to understand the first activity that you need to do, or the first step you need to take towards solving that problem. Now, the next thing I want you to think about is speed. Now, when there's an issue, you are not the only one who wants that issue resolved. Most especially, your bosses want those issues resolved as well. So if they already know that there is an issue, they will also be trying from their perspective to make sure that that issue is resolved. Now, the only way you can take responsibility, or you can be attributed the success of solving that problem is if you go quickly into solving the problem. So you know the steps to take, you already understand the problem, do it right away. Because it is not just delivering that matters, it is speedy delivery that matters, especially in the world where we are right now, where everything you want is at your fingertips. If you have the money, if you have the technology, every single thing you have is at your fingertip in the world where we are. So this is not the time where you take an issue, you put it into your locker and you forget about it for months. It's going to come back to bite you. So make sure that you are taking the needed steps almost immediately. Okay, now I want you to understand another point, another concept, which is the fact that if there is an issue and you're putting in a lot of hours to resolve it and you're not getting results out of it, it is almost impossible for you to be rewarded for just your effort. Result is what is rewarded. So having that at the back of your mind, a lot of people focus more on, oh, I'm working hard, I'm putting in the hours, I am doing my best. But if your best is not bringing out the results that is needed, then what's the point, right? So if you do understand that, you will not focus on your input, what you're doing to resolve the problem. You focus more on the results you want to get. And this is a mindset shift and a mindset change that I want you to adopt, because if you from the get-go think about the result, you will do every single thing you can to make sure that you are getting the result that you want. If you focus on the effort, you will prioritize the hours you're putting into it. So you just want to work. You just want to work. You're not looking at, oh, what's the end point? But if you're looking at the end point, as you're working, you start seeing smarter ways to get to the same result, and then you can bring that into your work and deliver your work more efficiently and with speed. And before anybody else even catches a glimpse of what's going on, you've resolved the issue already. So think about that before just thinking about the amount of hours you're putting in. Sometimes you may be putting in an insane level of amount of hours that you didn't even need to put in because of how your mind is set up. If your mind is set up to deliver results, then you will. Okay, so your mind is powerful only to the extent that you use it. Your mind is powerful only to the extent that you use it. So I need you to use your mind to solve your complex work problems. But at the same time, I want you to be smart about how you approach it. And I want you to be quick. I want you to add some bit of speed, because you don't also want a situation where especially if you're in a highly pressured work environment like I am in, people don't want issues just lying around. People want issues being resolved on the go. So if you're in that sort of environment, then sitting down, waiting for tomorrow, waiting for next week, we'll do it next week, isn't going to cut it. So sometimes the meeting you need to have should be held right away. Like, go in, don't just say, next week is a good time. Tomorrow is never a good time. Today, check in with the person you need to talk to or the team you need to converse with and check if they've got some time. And have the conversations right away. You'll be surprised at how much value and solution can come out of having a meeting almost immediately. Okay, so I need you to think about solving a lot of problems yourself before deferring to your boss. And I mean, you may not be able to solve all the problems yourself anyways, but think of at least get it in motion and get the support that you need. But don't feel like every single issue that comes up you need to defer it to your boss, such that your boss feels highly uncomfortable taking their leave days to go away and have time with their family. So you need to be trusted enough to be able to take the reins when your bosses are not around. Another thing I want to say to you is you should please practice decision making. It is so important that you learn how to make decisions. When issues come up and you think, oh, if I were to be the most senior person on this team, this is what I would be doing. Practice making those decisions. Now, if you're not too sure if it's within your purview to go ahead and act on the decision you've made, you can just check in with your boss to say, this is what I intend to do. Do you have anything to add? Do you have opposing ideas? Do you have contradicting ideas? Do you have other opinions? Do you think we can do this better? It is better than going to them to say, what should we do? There are two different questions. This is what I think we should do. This is what I want to do. Do you agree? Is different from what should we do? So get into that mode of saying, this is what I have decided to do. What do you think? Okay, so I need you to move from a consultation mode every time going to them to solve your problems to telling mode. I already solved it. I already know what I need to do. Just give me the go ahead, or maybe not even the go ahead. Just tell me that you're okay with it so I can move on. Okay, so I need you to get into that level. So I need you to feel empowered. I need to deploy your minds as a resource on your journey of growth, because it is the most powerful resource that you do have. If you love what you've seen so far and heard so far, please make sure you follow this channel, like, share and comment so that others can also see this video and benefit from it. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next one.